Hello everyone, today in this video we will continue our thoughts, meditations, considerations, call it as you want, about military capabilities of current main military blocs in present geopolitical situation. I mean Eastern, geographically understood as NATO, with the main part of it, I mean the United States Army, armed forces one should say, more general, and the Eastern one with few main components like China, Russia, and the two main, absolutely the most powerful component of the Eastern Bloc geographically understood, and also Iran and North Korea, maybe few others in the future we will see, maybe other countries will join. And as I mentioned in my previous video, we see in the fields of Ukraine, eastern Ukraine, that in a shorter conflicts, not in a full scale, when Russia doesn't use its all might, all forces, Western equipment can stop them, and now seemingly from this what we know, we have a stalemate, and Russian equipment cannot push back soldiers, even non-Western soldiers, using Western equipment. As long as Ukrainians die as a feather meat and are equipped with Western equipment, most likely nothing will move forward. The same would be in China and Taiwan. That's why Comrade Xi, his situation is even more difficult, because there is a Strait of Taiwan. His army would need to cross, and because of the corruption in Chinese army, I suppose similar to the one in Russia, Comrade Xi didn't decide to invade Taiwan yet. And I would like to go a little bit to history, to 1967 and 1973, so Six-Day War and Yom Kippur War, in which Israeli forces pushed back Arabic invaders, I mean the Arabic neighbors, all of their Arabic neighbors, who wanted to push them back to the sea and eliminate their state and clean the Middle East up. They didn't manage, because these wars finished quickly, and Jewish state was equipped with the Western equipment, mainly American one, and Soviet equipment couldn't compete. And also Arabic soldiers were not so well trained. But second war, Yom Kippur, despite the effect of surprise, because they were attacked, Jews were attacked out of sudden during their most important religious celebration. They managed to defend the country, but the outcome of the war was not so glamorous and not so successful as it was 6 years before. Now we have to take into account that after some decades, people who were born and raised in Europe, in Israel, seemingly they are now all dead, or they are about to die, the last ones, the oldest ones who are still alive, but these are only the individuals. And now entire society, one should say, it's becoming full-time, let's say full-time in quotation, Middle East society, so their interests are also in the Middle East. Now we see that their elite fall victim to their own megalomania, and their Arabic allies, or to-be allies, Abraham Accord, that didn't work only partially, decided that they can arrange Middle East on their own, with some help of China and Russia, but mainly on their own, and they do not need problematic ally, what is Israel for them, in their opinion. So actually, as of now, Jewish state is a little bit abandoned, a little bit isolated, and they will not get into the great money of Gulf countries, because they will not participate in their great construction projects that are taking place in few Gulf countries. So the elite of the Jewish state fall victim into their own megalomania, believing in eternal Jewish wisdom, which actually is very often over advertised, as we see, because politics is about cheating one another and about being smart and being flexible. If you are not flexible, you will be simply uh, outsmart, and you will be simply out of the game. And this is what happened as of now. So now we see that due to this fact that this is more and more Middle Eastern country, this country needs to find its own place in the Middle East, which is not easy. They are not so economically independent as they claim. Germans paid their dues for the Second World War. Europe doesn't want to pay anymore, and United States to this state so much to feed them and to allow them to function. So they need to find more and more resources on their own. That's why, according to, here I quote Mr. Norman Finkelstein, famous and for many controversial historian of Jewish origin, author of the book entitled Holocaust Industry, and they need to find another countries to just take money from them for alleged crimes. Some of the citizens of these countries reportedly committed or not during the Second World War against the people who were of Jewish origin, but somehow they forget that these people were citizens of these countries as well. There was not Jewish state those times, but okay, these are important details for different conversations. So we see that this country also desperately, I mean Jewish state desperately looks for another source of income, which is fine if you do not succumb to their blackmail and their pressure. It's fine. Everyone has its own right to look for sources of income to survive. But these are the reasons: location mainly, and using Holocaust industry and also Holocaust itself as a foundation myth for this state, because each state and nation needs its own foundation myth. So the whole Holocaust issue is regarded now in the Israel state as a foundation myth, a myth of the state. Here I quote recently the guy who recently died in the beginning of this year in a very advanced age, former ambassador of Israel to Poland, Mr. Shevach Weiss. Actually, his writings at the end of his life I really appreciate, because he was very much on a traditional conservative side, and also with respect to his partially Polish heritage and so on and so on. But Mr. Shevach Weiss once openly said that Holocaust is used by the Israeli elites as a foundation myth, because they have to find something that unites people coming from all over the world. We know that there were Kaifeng Jews looking like Chinese, many Jews from India, from Ethiopia, black ones, from different European or Arabic countries, Yemeni Jews, for instance. They differ from each other very much, even with the language they use, so nothing keeps them together. So each nation, it's its foundation myth. So all issues connected with Holocaust were selected to be foundation myth for the state of Israel. It doesn't work really well, especially after influx in 1990s. Many people from Soviet Union, not all of them were of Jewish faith, Jewish customs and Jewish origins. So this country has really big problems, not only financial, economical, but also, I would say, in terms of its identity, its problem. That's why this, I will be honest, this bullshit what was spread by some representatives of Polish or Israeli elites that Poland and Israel have something like strategic partnership. What? There is nothing like this. As I mentioned, geography, we are completely located in different areas, completely different surroundings, and also Holocaust foundation myth of the Israeli state excludes any closer collaboration, because if this is a foundation myth, it means that it will be used to, if possible, to find another source of income for the state that cannot work on its own. That's why we shouldn't be angry, we shouldn't hate each other, we shouldn't speak bad about each other, but we should take real view at the reality, at the current reality, make proper conclusions, and treat each other adequately. We cannot be strategic allies, but we don't have to be sworn enemies. Simply, we just exist, and when possible, we collaborate. When not possible, we don't. That's it. But talking about strategic partnership between these countries, it's pointless. But the main message of this video I wanted to convey is that in 1967 and in 1973, Western equipment was already superior towards Soviet and Chinese equipment, military equipment. But on a longer run, if now something like this happens, that all Arabic neighbors attack Israel, I wouldn't be so sure of the Israeli easy victory, or if Arabs were very much determined and sacrifice many people, they would be ready for a lot of losses. They would even push this state back to the sea, because Western equipment is good for a short combat, for inclining huge losses to the opponent in a short time, and this, there is an assumption that it would force the opponent to stop military action and withdraw. But if opponent was equipped with a lot of equipment, even inferior one, and determined to attack all the time, the side that possesses Western equipment would be completely defeated, wiped off. This is how I see it. And now we have to also remember that many Arabic states, because they, due to the oil reserves that they sell, they got a lot of money, so they also modernized their own armies with also Western equipment. So if third Arab-Israeli war started on a full scale, I wouldn't be so sure of the victory of the small state in Palestine. It would be really interesting to watch. But two previous scenarios we know from 67 and 73 wouldn't be realistic anymore to be repeated again, and we should remember that 1973 war was a success, but it was not so much it was not so great success as the one from 1967. So this is how I see it. This is an update with my considerations about the military capabilities of modern main military blocs around the world. All the best, have a nice day, bye.